Welcome to the world of Crash Team Rumble. If you're watching this, I'd like to assume that you're new to the game or want to experiment with a new character or two. This video will help introduce you to the basics of how every character on the roster should play, and one or two special tricks to make them stronger in your hands, if applicable. I'll preface each character with a scoreboard judging how well they contribute to each vital role in the game. Scoring Wumper, blocking enemies from scoring, capturing gem platforms, and collecting relics for relic station powers. This is a large-scale project from the Rumble community as a whole, so if you have any questions, please drop a comment and myself or any dedicated mains will be happy to help you out. I also have a few more in-depth video guides of my own. If you want to expand your knowledge further, go on, be a smart cookie. And with that, let's begin with the first category of characters and the main man himself. Ah yes, the most popular character in the game by far, the only character to get a tutorial too, and yet more than half of you still have no idea what you're doing. Good job! Crash is the quintessential scorer. While he's pretty much good at everything, his main playstyle is to just push past enemy blockers and score as much Wumper as possible. Not only does he have the highest Wumper capacity in the game at 140, he has some of the most high priority and varied attacks in the game too. So stop spamming slam. Crash is a very nippy character, but that also means that aside from when scoring on the bank, he doesn't want to stay in one place for too long. As you smash the crates and collect Wumper, look for local gem clusters your team hasn't yet captured that need your help to secure. You can slide between the gems without dropping, and your body slams have a lot of coverage or can squash enemies trying to jump between the gems. Scoop up any relics you find along the way. Crash may not be the fastest at grabbing them, but he's no slouch. If you see your dedicated blocker is about to be overwhelmed, either jump in and help them fend off the crowd with your high priority moves, or chase down an escapee for them. Don't stay for too long though, leave and head to your own bank as soon as possible, just bank, bank, bank. Crash is often far and away the top scorer, often breaking the 1000 scoring mark. Crash's slide spin is one of the most high priority moves in the game. Very few moves can interrupt or beat it, aside from things like Cortex's polymorph shot or Brio's brute form. It's as simple as pressing slide and spin at the same time. It's very easy to get into the habit of slide spinning back and forth on the bank and feeling invincible, and this will work against low level players, but against stronger ones, they'll guess where you're going and catch you at your destination. Mix it up, stop and body slam, or cancel your body slams by jumping and move to the side. If you cancel one just after squashing someone, you'll get to use loads more attacks while the opponent can't fight back. Tack on regular spins to add up further damage and move faster. Every third spin in a row gives you a speed boost. Basically, never stop moving and never use the same move repetitively. You are caffeine incarnate. And let me address the elephant in the room, super body slams. Yes, they have a huge range, and yes, they do a ton of damage, but it also leaves you more open than a golf tournament. So only use it when you're absolutely confident it'll hit. And for God's sake, stop approaching the bank with super body slams. Forget the Wumper, the blockers will eat you for breakfast. It just keeps happening. How do we make them stop? Someone make a guide. Oh, by the way, I'm also going to suggest the most ideal powers to equip to each character. Crash, for example, loves the Gasmoxian Guard the best. We call him Greg. Dropping one of these gives him cover behind Greg's ample posterior that drains the health of blockers fast and makes them more predictable to body slam if they try to go around. He also likes bounce crates to further mix up his body slams, making him capable of cancelling super body slams. A scary thought actually. By the way, isn't it nice that Crash is finally a top tier character in one of his own spin-off games? Dude can't drive, I can tell you that much. You must bear with me on this one because I despise this character, to the point that I haven't even gotten her over level 10 yet, and I never planned to. But at the same time, you might think differently. She might be the entire reason you bought this game, so I'll try not to show any bias. Well, not too much, we are going to be talking about Dingo later after all. Tawna essentially does everything Crash wishes he could, but also has weaknesses that Crash does not. She's kind of the alternative pick for places where Crash can't work. She has some serious horizontal mobility, sometimes too much, but she can reach and support faraway places much faster than Crash while managing the relics better. The two even share the same triple spin speed boost. While she doesn't carry as much Wumpa, her mobility also lets her snag nearby crates and return to the bank much faster. As a result, you'll often find she doesn't stray too far from her own team's side of the map. When she does, she can assist with flatter or widespread gems. She might struggle with the tall staircases, and launch a surprise attack on blocking efforts with devastating and immediate effect. Frankly, she hits like a truck, carrying a monster truck. The loading screen tips don't lie. Her uppercut combo is as strong as Crash's super body slam. Just spamming it in place will get you nowhere, however, due to its limited range and short cooldown. And of course, the hook shot she uses to close in has its own quirks. As long as you don't see stars around an opponent, you can stun them. The hook shot line does nothing, only the hook itself stuns enemies, so look out for opponents that can curve around your hook and bop you away as you try to zip in. Don't just throw out hook shots willy-nilly, or you'll reduce Tawna's health in no time. It's lower than Crash's. The best thing I can teach you now is how to cancel Tawna's hook shot.
Wait for it.
Simply press your jump button as the hook extends to the halfway distance. Mash it if you must until you can get the timing down. In fact, with games with a bad connection, it may be the only way you can do this in the first place. Not only does this change up how you move, it lets you stun enemies above dangerous areas without putting yourself in danger. Very useful for fights on gems or for attacks that can hit you back fast. Remember what I said about Crash's slide spin? This can counter it. You can find out more from the video in the description by Tello, the game's top Tawna. For now, just knowing how to cancel in the first place can help you stay unpredictable. Like Crash, Tawna excels at rapid scoring, but she does so by playing more patiently, move back and forth, wait for your opponent to make a mistake, and then snag them and make them eat their own teeth. Her best powers to help open up opponents can include Flytrap Spitters and, on equal measure to Crash, Greg, although I personally like Garbage Dump and Minefields too. She can take cover behind all of these, freely being able to hookshot slow or predictable opponents when they try to close in on her. As far as the scorers go, Catbat stands out as the most unique of the bunch, being a very supporting character. Ask for a hug, get a hug. Ask for a healing burger, get a healing burger. Ask for your opponents to die. Lots of people get frustrated fighting a character who can repeatedly fly out of reach, and there will be another example of this much later. But if you hope to get into your opponent's heads, Catbat is the scorer for you. In terms of horizontal mobility, Catbat is easily the slowest scorer, and not at all stellar at relic collection unless the level is super vertical. You can mash melee attacks to speed up with the close-in lunge, very useful when ascending, but the main bulk of Catbat's speed and combat alike come from diving. When you slam into the ground, it makes a little shockwave that lingers but leaves you wide open to counterattack. Don't forget to cancel your dives by jumping to psych people out, and never stop mashing your melee combo button. That little damage often finishes people off. Cancelling the dive also gives you an extra jump. You can dive and hit someone on the way down to bounce them up, cancel the dive, and then smack them with your wings like a wet fish. To make up for their lesser speed, Catbat has a decent Wumpa capacity and is also the scorer most versatile with help in fights. Gems are a breeze, as you can fly around off the usual beaten paths, and if someone tries to stop you flipping a gem, just feed them a burger. Yum, tastes like anger. If you want to ensure that the burger lands, strafe with the L2 button. It unfortunately doesn't have the best tracking. I mean, it is non-sentient as far as we know. Blocking as Catbat is not uncommon. Even big crowds don't tend to phase Catbat unless they can chase them into the sky. Teaming up with a main blocker is ideal, as you can feed them burger after burger to keep them practically invincible. But remember, at the end of the day, you are a scorer. Catbat's difficulty score doesn't come from getting around or fighting as them. In fact, both of these are quite easy to master. It comes from your being able to judge when it's time to score, and when it's time to bail your team out of trouble. The start of the game is the ideal time to secure gems. Look for whoever is struggling to capture them most and help them. Then you can decide what to do next. If the enemy team is super boosted, help your blocker. If they're not, go on the scoring offensive, using your tools to help your teammates score alongside you. Catbat is the very definition of a team player, while still being plenty capable in the fight on their own. Also, I probably shouldn't say this, but those shockwaves I mentioned, they linger a lot longer if you have crappy Wi-Fi, so the best plan to succeed as Catbat is to go to McDonald's. And thus the Fatbat was born. You know who else had too many burgers? Greg. Once again a prime candidate for any scorer, Catbat can take cover behind his booty. But they're another fan of bounce crates too, negating the weakness of slamming your face repeatedly into the ground while getting you back in the air quickly, also leaving a nasty surprise as you go. Your planet needs you. I often feel like Spyro's presence in this game is undersold. It's the first time Crash and Spyro have shared a game together since, well, I don't know if I should grace this by calling it a game. And it's a platformer no less. Better still, Spyro has a new move that is super satisfying to get around with. I hope he keeps it in his next game, wherever the hell that may be. He'll need it too. Spyro has the lowest scoring capacity of any character that isn't a booster, which is ironic because he behaves a lot like one. Spyro's speed means he can be anywhere he wants to on the map in no time at all. Collecting things is a breeze, especially relics. He even has a little help doing so in the form of Sparks the Dragonfly. While his combat leaves something to be desired outside of focusing someone down in a 1v1, he can make quick escapes and use his new Spy roll to take shortcuts and fight off the sides of danger zones. This is especially handy on gems. Not only does Spyro excel at capturing multiple gems at once, he can both charge along them to flip them fast, or glide and roll between them to bait his opponent into openings. Charge and jump into someone at the same time to carry them airborne and hit them multiple times. Then use your Flame Breath for a surprisingly strong combo, but only if you can single someone out. The Spy roll is performed by inputting Headbutt a second time, and it's strongly recommended that you don't use the Headbutt itself very often. It's extremely low priority for extremely little damage. As well as using the roll high in the sky for escapes, you can wait until you're low to the ground to push through enemies. It's also a good way to recharge your charge before it can run out. While you're airborne, the charge meter won't deplete at all. If you need to make a U-turn after a roll, just tilt the control stick opposite to where you were rolling and charge. Now I'll be honest, as much as I love this goober lizard, he's going to struggle with scoring if it's not a 1v1 situation. He simply has too little health and too low attack power. Scoring with a teammate is ideal, because then with the blocker taken down, Spyro has the speed to score, grab some local Wumpa, and score again. Unfortunately, he can only hold a maximum of 100 at a time, so he's all about finding cracks in his opponent's defenses and scoring when he gets the opportunity. When he can't find one, he acts as a backup booster. Now, being a scorer, he can't access the double relics that booster characters can grab, but he can snatch relics out of enemies' hands, and that's arguably more important. Triggering relic stations can give him the edge he needs to score more often. However, the actual act of triggering them leaves him more vulnerable. It's the prime time for enemies to catch you out. Don't always go charging straight into a fight. Strafe with the L2 button and use flames to keep you just out of harm's way. Powers will go a long way for Spyro, and thankfully, he's one of the most versatile characters for them. Almost anything can work for him aside from Bank Portal, Wumpa Stash, and arguably Bounce Crates, but his favourites are the following. Gazmoxie and Guards are exactly what he needs for more scoring opportunities. Drop one halfway through scoring to barge enemy blockers aside and bank freely. The damage it deals quickly adds up too, and it's hard to hit Spyro when he's behind booty-based cover. He loves minefields too. Jump and spy roll about to drop these high as well as low. Don't put them all on the same elevation or clumped together, or you'll limit your escape options, and enemies can more quickly destroy them with things like Dingodile's Vacuum. And sticky TNT, I know, but there's no denying that this works. Simply stick one to an enemy blocker to soften them up, but be careful that they don't pass them off to one of your own teammates, and don't just run away expecting the TNT to do all the work for you. Approach an enemy as the countdown reaches 4 or so seconds before sticking. This gives them no time at all to get rid of it, and lets you charge into them for some damage on top of the blast. For the more vulnerable blockers like Brio or Elora, this can kill them before they can patch themselves up. It's infuriating to be on the receiving end of, but it works. I'm sorry everyone, I've created a purple monster. Yes, it's my big boy himself. Dingodile is the prime example of the blocker role, and as such is a good way to describe it at a fundamental level. He is also very thick, and that should be what matters most in your decision to main him. Dingo's playstyle is simple: deny enemies from entering problem zones. A majority of the time, that means the enemy bank, but he can also help guard gems at the start of a game, or secure relic stations when it matters the most. Dingo's not exactly nippy, as you can probably tell, so he's devoted to protecting an area once he's there. On his way there, his vacuum makes him surprisingly effective at sucking up relics, but going after them should never be your primary goal. He's simply too slow for that, even with moves that speed him up like the super spin. The same goes for scoring. He has a great capacity, in more ways than one, and can easily bop enemy blockers away. But while he's busy scoring just once, the enemy bank will be wide open to like 4 people scoring multiple times. Dingo should only help score when the game is nearing its conclusion, and he needs to help get past the last desperate line of defense. In other words, he's a bit of a win more button. Fighting opponents on the enemy bank should be your main focus. While he may struggle to outright KO opponents, unless they make a really big mistake, he can force them to run away and reconsider their life choices. Although he's better than most at handling more than one opponent, thanks to an abundance of moves that make his opponents flinch, he's still much better in a 1 versus 1 situation, since being so big, he's gonna get swarmed quite easily. Think of him like Roadhog in Overwatch. Face him alone and he seems invincible, but gang up on him and he goes down faster than Mario Kart World's player base. I'm kidding! To survive longer as Dingo, don't be afraid to move on and off the bank, and use a good variety of moves. I see a lot of new players spam the vac pull, and yes, it can be powerful to drag people down out of the air or to prevent an escape, but it leaves your hands himself wide open. Bop fast opponents with a spin, charge up super spins to plow through more powerful moves and some relic station moves like Junker Ball. Use your vacuum to finish off weakened foes, and so on. You can find out more about the ins and outs of Dingo in one of my many other Dingo video guides. So for now, I'll say this is the most important takeaway. Blocking is about stopping scoring efforts. It is not about killing, and more killing, even if killing does net you more power charge. Speaking of which, powers. Fridge, eat everything in the fridge. Dingo has the highest health pool in the game, but honestly, who cares? If Dingo's getting swarmed, he's melted. Such is the weakness of most any blocker, but especially Dingo. The best way around this is the fridge. Not only does it make you more menacing in a 1v1, it causes a distraction your enemies need to address, while also giving you a platform to safely charge up attacks from. I'm also a big fan of Power Drain, but mostly when I can trust someone else to bring me a fridge. Powers like Flytrap Splitters can ruin Dingo, and not only does the Drain negate these, it can be placed further away and has more health than a fridge, meaning it distracts enemies for longer. Every second counts when blocking. Oh, and one more thing in closing, prepare to get taunted a lot. Perhaps it's because of his ease of access, but everyone likes to bully him. Dingo is not for the faint of heart, but a good one can make all the difference for their team. Hey, actually, next time you KO an enemy Dingo, would you do me a favor? Offer him a hug. Go on, brighten his day. Brio is the epitome of the phrase, be careful who you call ugly in middle school, because he's about to get even uglier. Going from a slow and somewhat awkward character to a near-invincible powerhouse, Brio is perfect for players that enjoy a large and frequently rewarding moveset that chops and changes on the fly. It's tempting to focus entirely on his mighty brute form, but we'll start by discussing what makes him effective in his base form too, because he is indeed quite based. With the press of your special attack button, he can throw out slime creatures. They serve tons of uses. Your team can bounce on them. They'll collect relics and crates automatically for you. And being living creatures, if you throw one onto a gem, they'll capture it for you. That allows Brio to contribute to relics and scoring without needing to explore the whole map. The slimes can be thrown as unlimited a distance as you can manage, allowing Brio to flip gems even while defending banks, and sometimes even from the spawn areas. Cheeky. In busy fights, slimes can also sneak up and bite opponents for damage, although they don't have much health and are quickly destroyed. Up to 2 slimes can be out at once. If you hit someone directly with the slime's beaker as you throw it, the slime will spawn at their feet and you'll cause them to flinch, rewarding a good aim. Brio's slimes have 2 major uses for his blocking efforts. First, as long as they're on the bank, they count as a living player, which slows down enemy scoring efforts even if you were to step away. Second, by bouncing on top of them, you can more safely ascend to throw beakers downwards and transform into brute form. Bouncing on one is as easy as throwing a slime directly at your feet, or even off the top of an enemy's head. Just hold down L2 to strafe, tilt the camera down to look down, and slime away. To bounce higher than normal, jump at the same time as throwing your slime. This is aptly called a super bounce. It's also possible to throw slimes on top of each other indefinitely and rise into the sky. This is called a slime ladder, but I'm not going to teach you more than that because the technique is heavily frowned upon. You can be a good Brio without it, I promise you. Just be aware, it exists and that anyone that uses it is effectively cheating. Stick to normal and super bounces, and use them to turn into brute form without getting interrupted mid-drink. Let the man enjoy his Coca-Cola. In brute form, you'll go on a rampage for 4 seconds. Very little can interrupt your attacks here. Dingo's super spin, for example, will clash with you and you'll both take damage, but it'll hurt Dingo a lot more. Watch out for projectiles and especially enemy garbage dumps or minefields. You're entirely restricted to automatic melee attacks in this form, and you become the biggest target in the game. The damage will add up fast. The good news is, transforming will also heal you up a little. Be careful because as powerful as you are in this form, when it wears off, you'll be forced to stand still temporarily. Make use of your slimes or powers to prevent this. Leading on to said powers, of course, any blocker likes a healing fridge, Brio included, so we'll skip over that. But he also likes bounce crates. In the event that he can't keep his slimes up long enough, or he needs a touch more height to transform safely, these can help. Their biggest use, however, is to keep you safe when you change back to normal. It never gets old triggering them when people think that you're just standing out in the open. And on a more unique level, Brio is perhaps the only character in the game who loves bank portals. With these, you can start drinking your Coca-Cola anywhere you like, trigger the portal, and arrive on the bank of your choosing just in time to let people behold your bulging muscles. It also lets him quickly go to his own team's bank to deposit Wumpa or deposit some relics, and then quickly jump back to the enemy bank if someone sneaks aboard. So many ways to surprise and confuse your enemies. Brio is all about opening up defenses in your enemies with tricky and unexpected moves. In Season 1 of Rumble, Tropy was an absolute nightmare to fight, doing a deceptively high amount of damage, while also causing people to flinch, like a lot. Nowadays, she's considered the weakest character in the roster, but in my opinion, no character in Rumble is weak enough to be unplayable. She can still work in the right hands, but you'll have to put in the effort. As such, I would consider her an off-blocker, sort of like Ripto or Elora. Fighting on the bank alone, she'll suffer, but in the support of her teammates, she becomes a threat as one of the fastest characters in the roster. Now let me start by saying what you absolutely shouldn't do as Tropy, and I'm gonna yell this one because I see it all the time.
Stop spamming the slam!
It's considered one of the worst moves in the game. It's not without its uses sparingly, as it can make mincemeat of enemy powers, but it simply leaves you too wide open when you land. Instead, prepare your hands for arthritis. Mash your square button like your life depended on it. The third hit in Tropy's melee combo gives Tropy a speed boost as she lunges, and is also the only attack in the combo that can make enemies flinch. So you can use the first 2 swings to reposition yourself and then close in with the third. Jumping during your swing will carry you slightly further. While you reposition or when you have someone trapped, you can send out her trip barrier to make them flinch again, before your third strike makes them flinch again, before the barrier makes them— you get the idea. To help aim your shot, get into the habit of strafing. If you don't like strafing often, just quickly tap the L2 button to help line up your trip barriers. Oh, and don't worry if you're strafing and moving backwards during the lunge, you'll still get the speed boost no matter which way you're facing, perfect for backing off while attacking enemies. But the real secret to Tropy's hypermobility comes from cancelling your slams. Perform your third melee strike and then quickly press the slam button. You'll notice Tropy gets carried through the air at high speed. Then simply jump before Tropy can begin to dive to cancel the slam and repeat the process. Both horizontally and vertically, she can snag relics and crates in no time this way. She can even send her trip barrier out in one direction to smash crates while she travels in another. Unfortunately, she only has a Wumpa capacity of 100 just like Spyro, therefore her scoring efforts are very similar to his, finding cracks in the defense and often picking on lone players in her way. Gems can be a bit tricky, because Tropy wants to be airborne so often, and the third melee strike can be harder to land on such a small space, but at least she has her trip barrier that recharges very fast. Tropy players should go back and forth between both banks, helping the main blocker to defend and collecting what they need on their behalf. When the flood of enemies subsides, they then cross the map to deposit their things and then help with scoring efforts. If you're stuck as the lone blocker, you'll naturally want a healing fridge to stay in the fight for longer. Tropy doesn't have the most health in the world. Because of how often she jumps about, Tropy also loves minefields, which she can scatter about with reckless abandon high and low, and especially on gems to cover that weakness. But personally, my favourite for her is Greg, whom she has no trouble slipping around the back of while he does some much needed heavy damage for her. Perhaps most importantly though, she can send her tethers through Greg's ample posterior to hit people trying to hide behind him, which must feel very unusual for the big guy. He didn't say stop. The best bouncy boy! Ripperoo can Ripper-do a little of everything, while still being a force to be rookened with as a blocker. Yeah, get ready for this, I'm far from done with the Roo puns. You'll often find no two games are alike as Roo. One moment you'll be hard blocking the bank alone, the next you'll be roaming around the map, helping your scorers break through defenses. In this regard, Roo is similar to Elora, who we'll return to later, but perhaps less supportive and more a case of fine, I'll roo it myself. Roo's kick is probably his weakest aspect for general attacking. I honestly have no idea what does and doesn't work against it even now. It's best used as a quick stop that attack, or to follow up on someone near you in the sky. But it does allow him to unlock the secret of his ability. Kick, wait a breath, and then hop onto a bomb for a boost of speed in the direction that you kicked. Careful not to about face when jumping on the bomb, or you'll stall in place. Use this in combination with his high jump, which is done by jumping and holding the jump button down until you touch the ground. This negates his weakness of slow horizontal mobility entirely, allowing you to take off like a rocket. I mean, technically he ain't a raccoon. Ruling around on bombs can be surprisingly quick, and letting them explode at your feet propels you forward. If you haven't figured it out yet, Roo's strength comes from playing with the game's physics. Stay as airborne as possible and never remotely in the same place twice. Kick boost and high jump your way around, using high ledges for even more bounce, so that you can throw out bomb after bomb from the air without being punished. Mastering this is essential, as you don't have much health to play with. Be careful not to spam the bomb button. If you get attacked, the game might think you want to hop onto your bomb again right away. This is called a bomb buffer, and is usually the #1 cause of accidental Roo plummeting in the workplace. Getting attacked even once is how it often comes crashing down for Roo players in general. It takes a bit of setup to get back into the air and restore your speed. Roo wants to stay out of danger zones as much as possible, so he should go around, say, the side of gems. Capturing gems alone can be tough for Roo, because he has to come back down eventually if he wants to capture or flip them. He'll do better on the clusters that look like rows of stairs, sending bombs down them. The high speeds that kick boosting can grant Roo don't just help with blocking. Roo is another off-blocker, so while he can fight and defend the bank on his own, it's not his forte. Groups, and especially powers like Groog, are especially good at stopping his bombs from hitting anyone. If he doesn't need to back up the main blocker, he can rotate around the map, securing collectibles. His wumper capacity is surprisingly decent for his speed and roll. Once he's done scoring or depositing relics, his cannon and kick boosts can return to the enemy bank for the next busy fight. Ah yes, the cannon. Don't get reliant on it. It's far too slow and leaves you stunned upon landing. And if you use it in mid-air in the reach of enemies, you're asking to be crushed. The only time it's safe to use en masse is in combination with this relic station on Surreal Summit, Ika Ika. You can perform an additional jump mid-launch with this to change your trajectory. It's pure montage fodder. The proof is in the pudding. However, the cannon does share great synergy with his favourite power, Bounce Crate, how fitting. As you fire yourself from the cannon, release the control stick, trigger some Bounce Crates, and hop on a bomb in quick sequence. Congratulations, you're now the fastest thing alive. Screw you, Sonic, we have a new blue blur now, a Roo blur. Other powers tend to depend on what the team needs you to do the most. Garbage Dump and Minefield help to cover his weakness of crowded fights, not only controlling crowds, but wearing down enemy Gregs quickly. Minefield does more damage, but it won't do the work automatically for you. You can tactfully block off areas with them, as well as covering the bank itself, unless they don't work. Fridges are for the more dedicated blockers, and help him survive the more long-range skirmishes especially. Roo's powers are all a matter of preference. Okay, no more Roo puns, please, come back, I'm begging you. Elora is difficult to summarize, but I think the best way is that she's able to cover all roles like Ripperoo, but in a more supportive manner. Whereas Rue is all about adding power to the mix, Elora helps keep her team up longer and supplements their strengths. Elora, if you will. Okay, I'll stop the puns for real now. She's probably the second hardest character to master on the roster, behind Dr. Cortex. So if you're initially looking for someone similar but less complex, start with Ripto. Another advantage Rue has over Elora is that he can easily handle blocking alone. Despite Elora's signature ability to heal herself, she can get overwhelmed fast. She makes up for this, however, with the ability to uniquely empower any role she needs to. Does your team need more scoring? She can hang back and pepper enemies with tornadoes while her allies try for the bank, and she's great at snatching up crates without needing to walk anywhere near them. Is the boosting lacking? She likes to attack from the bottom of gem staircases, and particularly defies gravity off their sides. Relic collection suffering? Aside from Tropy, she's the fastest of the blockers at collecting them, scooping them up in no time at all. And of course, when it comes to her natural role of blocking, she loves to work with bulky characters like Dingo and Brio, supplementing their moves with follow-up attacks and healing them up. In short, no other character in the roster emphasizes teamwork and support more than Elora, so she definitely rewards a player more comfortable at coordination.
Nice catch it!
Dork.
2 essential things to learn as her for now, but you can find out all the nitty-gritties in my Elora video guide. Her tornado is 4 moves in 1, being charged up to 4 levels. The first 2 are quick but don't make enemies flinch. The others can cause knockback and progressively do more damage, but travel less distance and don't lock on so well. The other thing to learn leading neatly on is tornado hops. Send out a level 1 or uncharged tornado and jump quickly. You'll hop forwards at high speed, which you need to keep your speed up when you can't cartwheel or flash kick. It's the secret to her great mobility. Master it above all else. Use it to give chase to low health targets when other characters like Spyro cannot, or to help reach a teammate in danger faster. Just don't go getting yourself killed trying to save them. This isn't Marvel Rivals, they won't spam need healing at you. As for powers, like Rue, Elora's favourite tends to vary with the roles she needs to help with the most, but universally, I recommend Flytrap Spitters for her. She likes to stay off of danger zones like gems and banks, unless absolutely necessary. Spitters can slow down scoring and gem captures while she flanks from the sides. She also likes Power Drain to give her opponents a solid distraction, along with Garbage Dump to make people fall back from stations or the bank for long periods of time. And her healing stacks together with the Healing Fridge to top herself and allies up at such ludicrous speeds you'd think they were a video game character going to bed. Man, I wish I could heal that fast, but then again, I don't sleep in the first place.
What is it, man?
Aha, Coco. We all love to hate her in Rumble. She's easy to pick up and not too difficult to be effective with either, but she has a single infamous move that makes her a total nuisance to everyone she faces. She has no major advanced techniques to speak of aside from slam cancelling, just like Crash. Remember, this is squishing someone with her regular body slam and jumping out of it to do some other moves. Let me address that one blocking score first, because I see so many people solo blocking as Coco that it hurts my resolve. The moment you fight someone other than a little Timmy, her defense falls apart. Her aerial spirals have very low priority, and her slams have the same predictable weakness as Crash, especially when overused. Combat is just not Coco's strong suit, even if she's not totally awful at it. If you'd rather stay out of busy fights for the most part, Coco's playstyle suits that, but inevitably she will have to contend for the gems as this is the primary job of any booster. You know, capture the gems and scoop up the double relics only you can collect. Coco is unrivaled in relic collection, well, almost. Her high-speed spirals and the speed boost provided by her wall make collecting and control relics easy as pie. Combine her triple spin speed up with her wall's speed boost for a massive launch. Trigger relic stations as often as needed, they can give your blocker an edge in battle. Once you have 15 relics, your quantum wall, when well timed, can secure your relic deposits as if enemies weren't even there. Before you leave, give your teammates a lingering wall to help them deposit their relics too. The wall is also Coco's ideal method of controlling gem platforms, taking cover behind it while she flips them. Just watch out for attacks that go through the wall, such as Elora's flash kicks. To better avoid this, save the wall for when you need it most, and when placed, move back and forth between the wall sides so that your opponent struggles to catch you. Keep track of the wall's cooldown if you've been spiraling all over the place, so that you always have one ready when it's time to bank, flip, or deposit relics. A common strategy is to stand on the far end of a bank and wall yourself off, but the wall will go down eventually and leave you open with few places to run. You'll have to remain unpredictable using the wall's speed boost and slam cancelling to score safely. Try to wait until the very last second to put the wall up if you can. Coco's best friend is a good old flytrap spitter. Although she can jump between gems fast, spitters can help her recapture gems more safely and slow down enemies trying to approach her on the bank. Make sure to drop these at the last second if you're trying to take a gem back from the enemies. Gazmoxian guards can be less frequent similar help, but I recommend reserving them for the bank or the epic relic station. They're very much a last resort when it comes to gem capture. Finally, she benefits from bounce crates in the same way that Crash does to cancel her super volley slams. Watch out for enemy bounce crates, they go through the wall. So to summarize, Coco's best strategy when it comes to fights is to usually avoid fighting entirely, using her mobility and the wall to outrun and block off opponents. Best of all, every time her wall or powers secure a relic station or some gems, she receives power charge to do it all over again. She has such a snowball effect on games, you'd swear she'd start an avalanche. Ips. In the interest of fairness, I prevented myself from giving Cortex 5s across the board. He is by far the strongest character in Crash Team Rumble, but thankfully he's also the hardest character to master, meaning most players won't ever get him to his full potential. So on the subject of which character is right for you as a beginner, it's probably not Cortex. However, if you're willing to put up with a lot of losses to get the hang of him, he can carry your team in every aspect of the game. Going into what makes Cortex so advanced would take hours, so for now, just a couple of essential bits of game sense. First, making use of transform shots, as most new Cortex players would rather just drop pianos everywhere. Just press the same button binder to your piano while holding down square to fire your laser. Hold it down while looking at and keeping your camera on your opponent to help your shots lock on, as long as there are no crates or powers nearby that they can get distracted by. The transform shot and the piano share the same cooldown. Once someone is transformed, you can use a dash to knock them away and deal massive damage. Dashing while someone isn't transformed still does some damage, but it isn't recommended because it doesn't knock them back. As for your dashes, here's how to make the best of them for height. Double jump, dash, jump, dash again, jump again.
It's an evil quadruple jump. What do you expect?
Use this for quick escapes to high ground, as Cortex has the lowest health pool in the game. Don't over-rely on it though. Staying low to the ground refreshes your dashes sooner, so you can travel faster to collect those all-important relics. You'll often see a lot of Cortex players chasing people down, and this is a perfectly valid strategy for him, it's just annoying to be on the receiving end of. He might not be as fast as other characters, but Cortex's dashes allow him to take shortcuts if he can guess where someone is going. On the other hand, if someone isn't running away and wants to duel you, reserve your dashes for dodging. Use one at a time if you can, to back off or sidestep dangerous attacks. This way, you'll always have one on hand in case you transform someone. That follow-up strike is the secret behind Cortex's pure power. Cortex doesn't have much wumper capacity, and so can be a little slow at scoring, but most blockers are countered by him. In the meantime, he can flip between gems expertly, using his piano to go over defenses such as Coco's wall, or to destroy enemy powers faster. If you're safe to do so, you can dash through powers twice for some extra damage. Blocking is an interesting one. It'll become harder to maintain that low health pool if Cortex gets swarmed, but in busy fights, he likes to climb high and drop pianos into the mix. You don't always have to ascend before dropping a piano, it might leave you without dashes to dodge stuff. Don't neglect the transform shot even in a busy fight, because it can interrupt crucial actions like a Brio trying to transform. And even if you can't dash into them, your teammates get a free hit instead. Just to warn you though, sometimes the transform shot doesn't work. It's a known glitch that unfortunately didn't get patched out, and curse your luck if it happens to you. Now the powers. As with Coco, Cortex appreciates the flytrap spitters, so he can either slow an enemy down and play them a song, he's the piano man, or focus on attacking fewer gems than usual. And he also loves the fridge. Fridge Cortex players, they have a stigma for a reason. This is the single most powerful combo in the game in matchmaking, simply because few teams are coordinated enough to destroy the fridge together. If Cortex can't single out someone consistently, he tends to become more vulnerable, but if you try to destroy his fridge alone, he'll predict where you're going and transform you. When you're against a Cortex, weaving in and out to hit the fridge can help, but it isn't foolproof. The fridge eliminates Cortex's primary weakness of low health. It's simply too good to ignore. If there is any character on this roster that doesn't suit his or her role, it's Dr. NGin. Everything about him suits being a blocker, besides his low health, and yet he's a booster. And on one hand I understand, his free flight and being able to leave traps around makes sense when you're going about the gems, but you have to think a bit outside the box if you want to play as NGin. And be a pest, very important, you are now no longer human but a mosquito. Walking around as NGin isn't very quick, but you can press and hold the jump button to take flight until he does this cute little arm flap. You have amazing horizontal mobility while airborne. Use it to circle around incoming homing attacks such as Flytrap Spitter Shot or Elora's more bulky tornadoes. To extend your airtime a bit more, you can use your booster jets for a sudden burst of height that knocks enemies away, or linger a little by dropping your boombox. Don't overuse these, they're the key to your combat. When you start rounds, you'll want to help grab some gems, and this is when things get weird. NGin is good at defending gems that he's already starting to capture, especially more clumped up gems that his boombox can reach across more easily. It's retaking and flipping gems that he struggles with. Can you guess why? Because the majority of the time, he would rather be in the air. Oh sure, he has to come down eventually, and when he does, his propellers can quickly add up damage, especially up close. But I must remind you, he has very low health. It takes little to actually kill him, hence his need to circle and weave in the air so much. Staying alive as NGin requires him to make use of the environment to stop and recharge his jetpacks and also cycle his cooldowns. Flying up and dropping the boombox is a good place to start. Then while it recharges, you'll have your booster jets to force people aside. Be careful not to drop the boombox onto something above ground like Greg's head, or it will cause a shockwave blast but then disappear. Making sure you always have an ability off cooldown is the secret to NGin's efforts as a blocker. I mean, booster! Oh, who am I kidding? It's just so hard to hit him up there, dang it! The free homing propellers, by the way, will all try to lock onto different targets like crates and powers. Try not to be too high above your opponents and get right up in their face before trying to attack them. Get rid of local distractions like mines and slow shrooms too. A nice boombox blast can help clear out the wider zone too. Boosters love Flytrap Spitters, and NGin is no exception. Though ironically, this power also counters him, seeing as it slows his airspeed down. Beat the enemy to the punch by placing yours first, and of course, let them flip the gems for you so you don't have to land for long. Fridges are always solid for blocker characters too. Put yours on higher ground so you can ascend to heal up and then rejoin the fight on your way down. It'll greatly waste the enemy's time if they have to keep climbing up to destroy it. If both of these options are taken, why not try bounce crates or garbage dump? They're emergency panic buttons if both of your cooldown attacks didn't work, for handling busier than normal fights, and in the case of bounce crates, they work on escaping enemies you can't normally ascend fast enough to escape from, such as Cortex and his homing shots. Cortex's boss hard counters NGin, it's like working in retail.
Villagers with torches couldn't get me. What chance do you have?
Last but not least, on the roster, is Ripto. Will you be quiet? He's very unique for a booster, perhaps even more so than NGin. When it comes to general Rumble gameplay, gem fights tend to be the most back and forth moments. If that's what you enjoy the most, then you'll love Ripto. Even though he can collect double relics, he's kind of slow, dragging his feet like Gulp drags his gut. Ripto is best played as a secondary booster, while your other faster booster, or a character like Spyro or Tropy, runs around collecting relics and triggering stations. Ripto squarely focuses on the gems, and when they're captured, he goes to help with blocking efforts or to secure the epic relic station. In short, Ripto wants to pick fights as often as he can. The basics of Ripto are quite easy to pick up and master. You want to make people get frustrated into coming to you or intercept their pathways. Use fireballs to pressure them from afar, strafing to bait someone into an approach. These fireballs have a slight but not very noticeable homing property, and should be thrown out as often as possible. I see a lot of Ripto players completely forget they exist. Lightning strikes can drag enemies down to ground level and briefly stun them. Holding the button makes the lightning strike further away and slows your descent in midair. If you briefly tap the button, the lightning will usually strike Ripto himself, upon which it creates a blast that knocks enemies away. And Ripto's tsunami carries enemies into the sky with him. You get an extra jump after using it too, so you can look down your nose at everyone from on high.
I am the Lizard Queen!
The best thing to learn as Ripto is how to link lightning to your tsunami. There are two ways, one for maximum damage and one to guarantee a lightning spike. First, the damage method. Just press both your lightning and tsunami buttons at the same time for a guaranteed chain attack. Toss in the fireball first before you start to rise with the water. How nice of you to put out that fire while you kill them. If your aim is true, you can also send out another fireball at the end of the tsunami. Adding in fireballs like this can one-shot squishy characters. And as for the other method, you can also tap the lightning button exactly halfway up your tsunami climb. The timing is tricky, and your connection and where you're standing will affect things, like being squarely level with someone. Too early and you'll strike yourself. Too late and they'll get free of the tsunami. But get it right and you're guaranteed to spike your enemies at the end. And you know what that means, the cliffsides await. Keep opponents off the gems with regular tsunamis, striking yourself with lightning, or using range lightning strikes if someone makes a run for it. Your lightning can also force opponents jumping between the gems into the drink. It takes practice, but ooh is it satisfying. Aside from the usual flytrap spitters to help lock the gems down, Ripto doesn't really have a preferred power. In fact, most aren't that great on him. Bounce crates can help if you end up helping with the blocking more, keeping him out of reach to ranged blows. Also, you can trigger the crates, then lightning and tsunami spike someone into the blast radius. If it wasn't a one-shot combo before, it is now. And for the most interesting surprise of this video, Ripto is the sole character in the game that can make good use of Wumpa Stash. So why is this? Well, Ripto's low mobility doesn't leave him too much time for scoring, along with having a very low Wumpa capacity of only 90 when he does. Since other powers aren't too necessary on Ripto, he can help finish a fight at the bank or gems and then take a completed stash to his bank in the downtime, best used on the maps where the banks are closer, like Bogged Down or Summer Forest. When he gets there, he's excellent at helping your scorers push past the blockers, especially if there are multiple blockers at once. His fireballs and lightning simply can't miss in a crowd, and he can split them up with Tsunami. Hey, if the whole red power gem thing doesn't work, Ripto could always stick a golden Wumpa Stash in his scepter. Then again, Gulp would probably eat that too.
Gulp, come here now!
That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and thanks for joining our humble little Rumble community. We're always looking for more competitive players, if that strikes your fancy in the long run. Please take a look at my video description for links to more people and resources to help you improve further. Don't forget to drop any questions you may have in the comments. Have a look at my Buy Me a Coffee page to support my work, and with all said and done, I'll see you in the game.